It's time to go commando. Penfold Commando. So who remembers these? I've really been looking forward to this test. It's been a long time coming, but a customer of mine gave me this box of golf balls last year. And this is the actual original box, and it was sat in a garage for nearly 25 years. And if you open this now, you can see a couple of those golf balls have had a little bit of use and they've had a bit of wear and tear. However, we have some really nice shiny ones that have never been hit. I think as a fair test today, what we're going to do, we're going to use the simulator, a GC quad that we're using for this test, so incredibly accurate. So what am I going to test this golf ball against? The Commando, back in its day, probably wasn't the most premium of golf balls. However, it probably was the most popular. I'm intrigued to see how this goes up against Titleist Pro V1x. You can see straight away there, if I zoom in, you can see the difference in the dimple patterns. And for those of you that weren't fortunate enough to play with the Commando, you can see the dimple pattern there is quite different to what we see these days. And for the purpose of this test, I'm using one of the custom fitting irons here in this studio. It's just a standard lie, standard length 7 iron. So we're going to hit 20 balls with the Pro V1x first, then we're going to hit 20 balls with the Commando. Let's do it. Shot number 1, Pro V1x. Didn't quite catch that. That's more like it. Hopefully you're just noticing on that left-hand side there, obviously efficiency is your smash factor, club head speed is 92, which is going to be pretty similar throughout the whole thing, which over 20 shots should give us a really good average with each of these golf balls. Oh, that's the worst swing of the day. Probably going to be really good. Oh, check that out. It's Pro V1 done. It's so hot in here. Oh my God. So in the grey here is our averages. So we can see that the ball speed is just under 120. We can say I was pretty accurate there, to be fair. It wasn't too bad. The carry was 172. The spin was 5.7 and the peak height was 91 feet on average. Shot number 1 with the Commando. Oh, it feels so soft off the club face. Oh, I've ripped that. I have absolutely murdered that. That felt so good off the club face. Wow, okay. Do you know what I would say? After just hitting 2 shots with it, it feels like an old Ballata. It feels so soft off the club face, like incredibly soft. There's no like ping or click off there. It's just dull, soft golf ball. I forced that one a little bit. Look, 95 club head speed. It's really hot in here. I'm trying to muscle some of these now. Go! The fringe. Exact same club. The aircon's just stopped. Oh! We've hit the green. To get that on the green, look how fast I had to swing it. 99 miles an hour from a 7 iron. Aircon's gone off again. That's it. I'm done. Okay, so it's just blue and red, so they're not actually an iron and a putter, they're just the two different golf balls. Look at the efficiency, so that's your smash factor. It is down with that Commando look. Even though the strikes felt good, the club head speed, if anything, was faster with the Commando, but just look at the spin difference. Like, look at that spin difference, that's mental. And also the carry distance is 13 yards, 13 yards. With the same club. Mad. So an interesting comparison there between those two golf balls. It's pretty much what I expected, if I'm honest with you. Probably a little bit more than I thought, but that is probably what 30 years of development gets you compared to, you know, a 1980s classic. But what I would say is, rather than spending all these millions on R&D for this golf ball rollback, why don't we just give them all the Commando instead? Just an idea. See you soon.